listening to the Savvy Musician Show with Leah McHenry, and this is your secret weapon for success in the new music industry.
Welcome once again to the Savvy Musician Show. This is CJ, one of the branding and mindset coaches from the Savvy Musician Elite program, and I'm so thrilled to be here once again with the lovely Leah McHenry. How you doing, Leah?
I'm doing great, and I'm really excited to be here today, picking up where we left off.
Yeah, we've been talking to people about something I think is really so important that we've extended this over multi-parts. What is it?
Well, we are dealing with why your music isn't making any money, and we split this into 5 parts. And originally there was only 3, but I added a couple more on that I thought were extremely important. So this whole thing is about sales, right? Like, are you frustrated by your lack of music sales? I hear this every single day from musicians. And so if you haven't listened to the previous episodes, you're going to want to go back and do that right now and then come back and listen to these. I mean, you can listen to them in any order, but I'm going to encourage you to go and listen to them all because they're extremely valuable information. And some of the stuff is stuff that from our coaching program. So you're getting like the gist of it. And of course, we go in a lot more detail and in depth in our programs, but you're going to get a lot out of these episodes if you're not in it. And so this whole thing is designed to help you just fill the leaky holes in your bucket of your music business. And that's all it takes to really, I won't say all it takes, but it's a huge part of revenue is filling leaky holes. And so I'm trying to focus on things that maybe you haven't thought about or you've thought about, but you haven't implemented. So this is meant to be extremely educational. So in the last episode, we talked about how to ask for the sale from your fans and the 2 different approaches I'm using all the time, 365 days a year. And today is all about email marketing, email in general. And it's a huge missing ingredient for most musicians.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, people who are listening to this, Leah, are going to be from all different backgrounds, all different genres of music, right? And this is universally applicable. And so this is the new space that the music industry is now existing in, and we're trying to empower people to have success in this. And this is not all theory. This is put in practice not only in your own music business, Leah, but also in the countless people that we work with together in this amazing program. And I wanted to really spotlight one student before you get started, because we get these great, reports and testimonies from our students, and what a tremendous bunch we have in there, just really committed to, really getting the kind of success that they thought was, aloof from them. It was not going to be something they were going to be able to leverage for themselves. It was so confusing, all the different stuff that you say online marketing. Is that like rocket science? So it's been awesome to be able to watch you break this down, not only in the course, but also here in the podcast. And someone wrote in recently, somebody from the program who I even worked with individually. Her name is Corey Carruthers. And she writes, as a win, she says, so I've planned out my year. My goals are to increase my monthly revenue by $2,000. January, I set a goal of $1,000. I exceeded that amount and brought in $1,200. February's goal is $1,400. The revenue stream is from royalties, digital online sales from iTunes and CD Babies, physical sales. I received my first royalty check from Muzak, which was more than 1 cent. It was $65, and I'll take that. Eventually, I want to be bringing in $5K per month, and really there are no limitations on making revenue. She says she has 4 more streams that she's working to have in place by the end of 2019, a VIP club, Shopify. She's offering services as a session musician and even acting as her own social media marketing guru. She says, I'm great at other people's social media and marketing, but my own, this is why I'm taking Leah's course. She says she's created a new product that will be available in Shopify, which was one of actually Leah's suggestions in the survey, and was a USB flash drive loaded with her music. So I've heard you talk about that, Leah. And she says she's struck by how this is organized. This focused her on her music business and treating it in a way that has made a huge impact on what she's doing. So she just says, thank you, Leah, and the rest of the team. She's so very grateful today. Bet you love hearing that.
Oh yeah, I mean that's why I do any of this is sharing the knowledge and the systems, the processes and the principles that will get people, fulfilling their dreams. So that's why we do this.
So again, the big question we've always been asking is why your music isn't making any money. We've talked about different parts of this, and today we want to talk about an important thing, which is email. And people may have differing ideas about, is that even relevant? How does that get done? But let's start with the basics. Why, Leah, is building an email list so important?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's so important. I think this is such an overlooked thing. I mean, I talk to musicians every single day, and I think a large percentage, I can't put a number on it, but a very large percentage of musicians aren't even thinking about email. It's like it's not in their vocabulary, it's not in their thought process, it's not part of their marketing. They don't see the use or the need for it, and they haven't thought about it. So I think a good question is anybody even still using email? And I
Right,
would say if you have an Amazon account and you ever order anything online, are you using your email?
right,
I mean,
right,
this is one very good indicator that email is never going away, especially on a transactional level,
right,
especially in that level. I mean, gone are the days where people are forwarding, cute pictures of cats. We have Facebook for that now.
right,
But are we still using email every single day in our lives? Yes. I mean,
right,
studies are showing that people check their email multiple times a day, especially on a mobile device. So
right.
they're checking their email anytime they make a purchase, anytime they opt in for something and they're getting some kind of confirmation email. A lot of them are transactional emails. So in an e-commerce situation, which is what we're going to talk about, this becomes so crucial.
Right.
And yeah, there should be a huge importance and urgency for every musician to be building their list. And if you walk away from nothing else in this episode, it should be, oh my gosh, I got to get my crap together and start building
Yeah.
my list. I hope
No,
you take that away from this episode.
yeah. That's you make a very good point, which is so long as there is e-commerce, there is email because you have to track things, you have to get notifications, you have to confirm things. So number one. And number two is e-commerce is growing. So more and more, and people are having their food delivered to their house now. So everything more and more is being done digitally. Ergo, people still have email, and email marketing is valid. But also, you can say, you can almost kind of qualify your potential market by whether they use email or not. Because I do encounter people who don't have Wi-Fi, Leah, and they don't use email, and all they have is their phone. They're not going to spend a lot of money with me, if
Right.
at all. So I'm not really concerned about them. You know what I mean? It's like the person on Instagram is always a better follower than the person on Facebook most of the time. Because I always argue that somebody who has a second social media account is usually a more serious person about their social media.
Yeah, that makes sense for sure. I've got a bunch of points here for you guys on why you should be building your email list. And so that was one of them, that people are using email every single day for transactions and they're checking it multiple times per day.
Mm.
So that is one really important reason. I guess I can continue with the second one. All right. Number two is why you want to build an email list is something you might not have thought about is that you do not own your social profiles. Absolutely anything could happen to your accounts. It happens every single day. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, you could get hacked.
Mm-hmm.
You could get kicked out. You could get your account shut down. You could lose contact with all your followers. Something could happen to the platform. They could change, or the platform might shut down.
Right.
Do you remember MySpace? People
Mm-hmm.
had millions of followers on MySpace, and it was like poof, overnight it was gone. And
Right.
all that work you put into it, building this huge audience, was just lost. You had no way to contact these people again.
Right.
That's a huge reason why you want to have an email list. You want full control. And that is my third point, is you need 100% control of your communication with your fans. Not just the communication, but I'll add to that the experience. You want to be able to control the experience. You want to be able to customize the experience and personalize it as much as humanly possible. And you can't do that always on social media platforms. They're great and we use them. I have nothing against them, but you need this control in order to make more revenue at the end of the day. That's what this is about.
Right. Yeah. One thing that's interesting, is the idea of, again, the words we use on social media are kind of, they lose their meaning, like a friend on Facebook, as compared to the way the word friend has always been used. But when we say things like, empire, you can actually build your own empire. And I think we're still trying to get over the fact, Leah, that we need institutions, we need the record labels, we need the publishing labels, we need these things in order to market our music, and you don't. And so if you're going to build your own musical empire, then you don't want to exclude anything from what you have the potential to connect with somebody. And how prevalent is email going to play a role in something like that?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's just such a way to be able to personalize things with people. It's more intimate than, say, like a social platform. There's just, yeah, I think everybody intuitively knows this because they're getting emails, but to be able to put it into practice and be proactive on it. And, well, what do I write, Leah? Like, we can talk about that. What should you write?
Right.
But yeah, it has to be part of your plan. Okay, so something interesting, my fourth point here that people don't think about is that email is considered an asset. If you ever build a business and you want to go to sell it, it will actually improve your valuation, the valuation of the business, if you have a large, active, engaged list. And so it's actually considered an asset. If you don't have that, it devalues the business.
Right.
So having an active list of people who are engaged, who open your emails, who read things, who click on things, and buy things from you, customers, having a customer list is so valuable. And so it's a powerful asset that you can own as a musician, entrepreneur. So yes, I'm going to use that word, entrepreneur. I'm going to use that word. And so you need to be thinking about how you can be building your assets. I call it digital real estate because it's like, not that I want to make people into real estate, but it's like a piece of something very valuable that increases over time. I mean, the longer someone stays with you on your list and is a customer with you, the greater the lifetime value is what we call it, because the chances are that they're going to continue to buy things from you over time. So it's very valuable.
Yeah, and that personal element cannot be overstated, that you have this intimate, relationship with somebody. Even though you're ultimately selling your music, there's so much about culture and the other things that you've talked about in the past, Leah, that helps to provide the framework for the kind of relationship that you're having. So there's so many things that you can write and share with people that aren't necessarily sales related, right? They're personal things. They're encouraging things. A lot of people that we have in the group have a message to behind their music. There's a tremendous inspirational element to a lot of our students. And so that gives you so much more to talk about, than just your music per se. You're able to share more of your heart and the things that you're passionate about and tell stories and share things that, man, I mean, and we complain about how Facebook doesn't reach your whole audience. You get a business page and you're only reaching a small percentage. Well, you have here another option to reach more and more people. And I would seize it.
Yeah. In the marketing world, everything you just described, like bringing people into your world, telling them all about you, sharing stories behind the scenes, things. In the marketing world, that's called indoctrination. Such a cultish sounding weird word to use, but it's just immersing. I like immersing better. Like you're immersing them in what you're all about, right? And hopefully they're going to fall in love with that and relate to it and go all in and be like, oh, you are my new all-time favorite band. I'm in love with this new band. That's what that is.
Yeah, we were just talking offline before we started the podcast about some of the ins and outs of the group, and just Leah was reiterating to me taking the service level of her business to the next level in terms of giving people more and more and more value. And email is such a great opportunity for you to add so much value to, a fan's life, a follower's life, however you want to call that. But yeah, email's a great way for you to do that. And so, yeah, I mean, indoctrination is a hardcore word, but you do. It's a great way for you want to bring them in your world, but for the sole purpose of adding value to them. And you do that, and they're going to buy whatever you have.
That's right. And that brings me to number 5. Email is the number one source of revenue in e-commerce. And you might be wondering why I'm talking about e-commerce here. For those of you who are new to this, if maybe this is the first time you've ever listened to the show, but I'm going to encourage you, if you are selling any kind of physical merchandise, physical music, CDs, vinyl, t-shirts, stickers, anything like that, you are actually in the business of e-commerce. You are selling physical goods online. You need to start treating your music business like an e-commerce business. When you do that, you are going to 10x what you're currently making, because with that comes an entire approach. It affects the platform you're using. It affects all your emails, your follow-up sequences. If people are abandoning their cart, what happens next? So many things and so many opportunities to get that sale at a later point, whether it was today or a week from now or a year from now. All of those bases are covered in an e-commerce approach if you jump in fully. And so, for example, any e-commerce guru out there, there's some great ones out there. They will all tell you that email is the number one source of revenue for them still, even though open rates are at an all-time low. And I think, I mean, between 20 and 30% is the average, depending on the industry. It totally fluctuates depending on the industry. Even though that's at an all-time low, it's still the number one source of revenue. I'm about to relaunch my shop. I did kind of an overhaul to it, got in new products, moved warehouses. I had a bunch of stuff going on. I'm about to relaunch that and open it like as a grand reopening. And I will be emailing the heck out of my list. And so that's going to be a huge part of the revenue. And I have some big revenue goals. So yes, that's going to be a huge part of it. My number 6 is that direct response marketing approaches don't work as well on social platforms right now, but it still works amazing in email. And by that, direct response just means what it sounds like you are giving someone a direct call to action. Hey, buy this thing, buy this amazing yellow umbrella or whatever. And this price only, great headline, great copy, great image, great offer. That's direct response marketing. It doesn't work as well in social media these days. If you're doing it on social media through Facebook, Instagram, people often need multiple touch points before they're ready for a sale. And that just means they've got to see and interact with you multiple times over a period of time in various formats before they trust you enough to buy from you. However, in email format, direct response marketing works just the way it always did, always has. So that's a really interesting thing. That's one thing that has kind of changed.
Yeah. That's interesting, though, that, you're utilizing similar copy, similar offer, etc., but two different mediums create two completely different results. And these are some of the nuances that, people need to understand about marketing, is that different things, it's not just the copy, it's not just this, it's not just that, it's a combination of things, and it's understanding where your audience is, what they need, like you said, multiple touch points, and not relying upon any one thing, not putting all your eggs in one basket, for example, with the social media platforms, but maximizing this one thing that, unless somebody, I've got a few email addresses, but the main one that I've had for, I can't tell you how many years, Leah. It would be the first email I got after I got off AOL. I still have it.
It's like CJ 1972 or whatever.
Well, actually, back then I could get just my name because nobody had like all my names on like Skype or everything else are all, nothing has any numbers in it because I got on those things when they were early. Couldn't do it now though.
Yeah. Oh man, I had a thought here, but yeah. And on that note with social media stuff is like, it still works. I still use some direct response marketing tactics on social media but it's really important that you engage with people on the platform the way people like to engage on it. So you want things to appear as native as possible on that platform. And so with an Instagram, I'm not going to have like headline, subheadline, and then some text and then a link. You can't even put a link in your text on on like a regular post. They can't click on it. Don't put a link in your text if they can't click on it.
Right.
Instead, you got to tell them, go to the link in my bio and use something like Linktree, and where you can put all the different, so, you can use certain principles from direct response marketing, but you've got to adapt it to the platform in which people are using it in the way they're using it.
Right.
So it's back to email. It still works amazingly well in that format. All right. Number 7 is when you have a list, you can do incredibly powerful things like upload your email list to the Facebook platform and then show those same people ads. This is like, for people who don't know Facebook ads, this is mind blowing and this is pure gold. Yeah. So, for example, I teach something in our elite program called surround sound ads. And I like that name because it works for us musicians. And I think it'll resonate. So whenever I have something really important to share, like an album launch or an announcement or crowdfunding or something important, I use the same copy, like long form text that I would use in my email. And sometimes a short text, but long form text, and I copy it into an ad on Facebook and Instagram. And I target my same list. And then I target other groups of people as well. But I target my list as one audience of several, right, so that they absolutely can't miss it. And what happens is when you do that, it really generates a buzz. They're like, oh my gosh, this Leah, she's like everywhere. So like I seen her in my email. I didn't open the email, but here I'm seeing her again in my newsfeed here. And then I saw her on Instagram with the same thing. And you kind of create something that looks like an omnipresence kind of a strategy. And they're just like, you're top of mind. And that's the whole goal with advertising, is being top of mind whenever they go to think, what band do I want to listen to? Where do I want to shop today? You want to be top of mind. You want to be the first thing they're thinking about, and that's where they're going to go. Right. So being able to have an email list is so powerful. You can upload that email list to Facebook and it's called a custom audience. Right. But you can show those same people, if their email addresses match on Facebook, you can show those same people an ad. So, and just as for some of our students who know about this, it's always going to be a smaller number on Facebook than what your email list size is. And the reason is because some people are using different email addresses than the one that they signed up for Facebook with. Some people's email addresses are on Facebook, they signed up 10 years ago and they're not even using that email address, right, versus the one that you have on your email list. So there's always going to be a little discrepancy there in the size, but it's still incredibly powerful, right, and has always gotten me in really amazing results when I do this. All right. So if your brain isn't ready to explode yet from that, I've got a few more for you. So email is extremely important when you are selling merchandise and music online. We touched on this a little bit before, but one of the reasons why I take an e-commerce approach is because of tactics like, I don't like the word tactic, but methods that increase revenue, such as pre-purchase and post-purchase campaigns. If you're just like, what are you talking about? Mm-hmm. A pre-purchase campaign, let me just tell you a scenario, okay? If someone comes to my shop or reads a blog post and they enter in their email address on that page, they go into a pre-written series of emails that are all automated waiting for them. And they might get a series of emails for 7 to 10 days from me that I've already crafted. And I call it a pre-purchase campaign because at this point, I'm assuming they haven't made a purchase yet. And so in this sequence, I'm sending them information about me, about the shop, getting them to engage, click on things. It's that kind of immersion, indoctrination we're talking about. And then somewhere in there, I'm sending them a discount or a coupon to encourage them to come and make their first purchase. So I have that set up for my pre-purchase. And I also send people a post-purchase campaign. So after they bought something, I have more emails for them. The likelihood that they just said yes and gave me their credit card. The likelihood of them saying yes again is very, very high.
So
And
that's
so
automated as well?
all of it is automated. Yes. So if you're not doing this, I promise you, you are leaving so much revenue on the table if you are not taking this kind of approach. And this is what we go very in depth about in the program. We actually give you the exact emails that I use, and we give you the exact email sequence. You can actually just copy it right into your account, which
Wow.
is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then other things that you need email for are things like cart abandonment. When someone goes to your shop and they add something to their cart, like a t-shirt, and then they don't buy, they get busy, they're on mobile. A lot of people are shopping on mobile, but they don't buy until they're on a desktop.
Right.
Do you know that? A lot of people don't know that. So, that gives you some things to think about in terms of ad strategy too, when you are targeting people to make that final purchase. Targeting people on a desktop is usually a very high percentage of sales.
Right.
So, because people are browsing on mobile, but purchasing on desktop. And every audience is different. So you have to test these things. But with cart abandonment, if someone added something to their cart and they didn't buy, but they entered their email address already, that went into our system and I can follow up with this person automatically. So I've got an email series for that, right? Hey, I don't say that they forgot their thing in their cart. I'm not going to insult their intelligence. Say you forgot your item. They didn't forget it. They didn't buy it for some reason, right? So I'm going to encourage them to come back, and I might incentivize it over time. So like if they didn't make a decision within a few days, I might send them a small coupon. That works typically very well. I don't believe in devaluing our music, but if we have enough margin on other items like hoodies and stuff, then you got a little bit to play with.
Right.
So you can do things like that. You've got to have email to make any of this happen. You can't do this through social media.
True.
You can't. So these are huge, important things. Like I said, if you're not implementing these kinds of things, and they sound techy and they sound really overwhelming at first, and it is a learning curve, but I promise you, it is so worth learning. Once you do this and it's set on auto, like I don't touch it again, right? Unless I go in and I analyze, hey, what could be better? And then I tweak things. That's the only time I touch it. So it's extremely powerful.
You see, this is where, again, I've said in the past, Leah, when I run into people and I mention you, they say, oh, I've seen her online. And I always wonder if this stuff is legit. Or they'll say, I just can't see how she does it. I just can't figure out how she does it. Well, we've been doing these podcasts now going in depth with how this is done. And it's probably not the things that they assumed were done. They think it's as simple as, hey, let's get some followers to our Facebook page, and somehow magic happens when you post something, and maybe you're really cutting edge if you boost it. And that's the extent.
Oh my goodness. I have heard other people giving advice to musicians to boost their posts. And I kind of want to punch them a little bit. Yeah. Not because I'm angry at them, but just like you are telling musicians to go and do the very thing that's not going to help their revenue.
Right.
I mean, it's sorry, do you make more revenue from more likes and shares on a post? That's not how you make more revenue. Is it important for engagement? Yeah, it's important. But in the grand scheme of things, I could make a lot of money in my music and stop posting on my Facebook page. That we're at that point right now where I could still make a great living without posting, because I've got paid content. I'm going to put my videos and other posts in target specific people and put money into it. And I'll get those posts that are really meaningful and engaging. And those will become my touch points before I show them an ad for my album or a hoodie or something. So, we're at that point. So
it's the same assumption, Leah, that people had when they thought, okay, I'll just get a billboard on the road, or I'll just run a Yellow Pages ad, or I'll just put something in the classifieds, thinking
it's lazy.
Yeah, just thinking that if I expose it, then people are going to buy, as if somehow that's the way that it happens. And so you understand that people would never say, I don't see how she does it, if they weren't aware how complex, marketing can
They're
actually
seeing,
be.
it's like that meme, the tip of the iceberg. They're seeing this top little part and they don't see the massive, huge ice pillar beneath the surface and
Mhm.
all the tech and the hard work and the learning curve and the tears and all the things that went into it for me to even learn any of this stuff, to try and implement it, test it, perfect it, and then teach it. You guys have no idea how much I put into figuring this stuff out. So when people say they don't know how
Correct.
I'm doing it, well, you're only seeing the results of it, of all this hard work. You're not seeing the hard work that went into it to learn. So
Right.
I think that our listeners understand that, but I think other people who looking for on the inside from out, what's the saying, looking on the outside,
Hmm.
who haven't really gotten to know me or gotten to know Savvy Musician Academy or students, I think they might have these kind of assumptions and go, well, that's impossible. Who are you? And I just think, well, I don't have to be anyone to anybody. This is the internet. I just have to know what I'm doing and be diligent about implementing it all the time and never stop learning, and it's going to work.
That's right.
So, all right. So let's jump into the last part here. What are the tools that I recommend for email marketing? I have some strong opinions on this, you guys, and you might not like it,
Hmm.
okay? Because there's a lot of people using a specific platform that I just can't recommend. One of the popular ones is Bandzoogle. It is basically a cookie cutter, very cheap website, kind of like a Wix, but
Right.
for musicians. Only it's supposed to do your email marketing. It's supposed to be your web shop. It's supposed to do all these like all-in-one things.
Right.
But it's for musicians. It's extremely like maybe $10 a month kind of a thing. And then it's yeah, I want to say, like, I think I believe their intentions are good. I
Right.
do. But it does not integrate nicely with other things. It does not is not built for sales. And I'm always wary of platforms that claim to be an all-in-one anything. I'm
Right.
wary of it because oftentimes, like in life, if you are, a jack of all trades, it's usually very mediocre.
Yeah.
And so it's better to use tools that specialize in that one thing and they do it really amazingly well. And so one of the there I have issues with Bandzoogle before, at least before they would not allow a Facebook pixel integration.
Oh,
If
wow.
you don't know what a Facebook pixel is, go back to these previous episodes. We've talked about what a Facebook pixel is. It's a tracking code that you need to do anything in marketing online. If the platform you're working with doesn't allow a Facebook pixel integration, run away
Right.
fast,
Yeah.
because they don't know what they're doing and they are not helping you in your marketing efforts.
Right.
I also would caution you, if it's not built as a CRM, like a customer email service provider, if they're not a professional email service provider, I would be very wary of storing your emails on that platform.
Right.
There platforms like that break pretty
Right.
often. And I'm worried for you that you will lose all the emails that you've built up, or something's going to happen and you can't get them, and there's too many limitations with platforms like this. We're going to do another episode with Kristen, our website
Mm.
expert on
Awesome.
Bandzoogle and websites in the future. So stay tuned for that. I don't want to go too much further on Bandzoogle, but I have a strong opinion that you should not be using that. You want to be using a proper email service provider. There's so many out there, okay?
Yeah.
MailChimp, GetResponse, Aweber. I'm personally going to recommend Drip. That's what Drip is what I use in my music business. We use it in Savvy Musician Academy, and um, we also recommend it for all of our students. It's amazing. It's very simple to use, but they also have advanced features. So you can do some pretty complex stuff, like some of the things I was talking about with tagging people. Like if someone bought t-shirt A, I can tag that person. This person bought t-shirt A. Now I want to show them t-shirt B. Did they buy t-shirt B after I sent this email? Yes, they did. Great. I'm going to send them t-shirt C. No, they didn't buy t-shirt B. Great. I'm going to send them something completely different. And I
Right.
can tag the whole thing and automate the whole thing. So you can do very complex things, but it's very simple. It's a very visual platform too, which I think is important as a musician. We're extremely visual people.
Right.
And so their whole tech side of how you build that out is visual. Like you're seeing it as like a kind of like a brain tree kind of a thing.
Right.
So really important that you use a professional email service provider. Hey guys, in the show notes, we're going to give you a 60-day trial through our link. So you can try Drip out. And again, you can use MailChimp or something else, but I just think that long-term, you're going to be better off using something a little bit more professional. Also, the problem with big, massive CRMs or email service providers like MailChimp is that there's so many people using that one that sometimes their servers don't have the greatest deliverability, meaning there's going to be a lot of people that don't receive your emails, or that it ends up in the spam folder or the junk folder or the promotions tab in Gmail. And it's because of the servers that there's so many people. Some of the people on there are spammy. And so the servers get flagged. And so again, you want to use a highly reputable email service provider. That will make all the difference for you. All right. In addition to an email service provider, you're going to need a landing page provider as well. Do not just send someone to your website and tell them to go sign up for your email list, which is somewhere on your website. That's the worst thing you can do. I don't know. I think we've talked about this before. We can address this in a future episode. We'll just talk about landing pages. I think that would be a great one.
Right.
But do not just send people to your website. It's way too distracting. There's too many buttons and things they can do. It's very unfocused. The whole point of a landing page is to get a yes or a no. That's it. Yes or no. Either sign up or go away. This is your whole goal. So you need a proper landing page provider. We personally love Lead Pages. And it so happens that Lead Pages and Drip are two branches of the same company. So they integrate really nicely.
That's great.
Yeah. I don't like MailChimp's landing pages, by the way. I know they just came out with that. It's a new feature. I don't really like them. I've seen them. They seem extremely limited. And at first they did not allow a pixel integration. And I was like, guys, get it through your head. If it doesn't have pixel integration, run away. You need this to make money.
Right.
It's online marketing 101. Okay. You always use a Facebook pixel. You always track the traffic on any of your pages or websites, all of them. So if they do allow it, you could use it, but I don't recommend it. They're not built to convert. And Lead Pages, they've pre-designed all these amazing templates. They're designed to get the highest conversions. So use good tools. Stop cheaping out on tools and try to get free this and free that, everything. That drives me nuts about some musicians. Yeah. They'll spend money on alcohol and cigarettes and crap they don't need, buying whatever gear that they don't need, and they won't buy good tools. It drives me up the wall. And then they wonder why they're not getting great results. Obviously, there's a lot more to it than tools, but that's a big one. So get some good tools, you guys. Anything to add?
Well, yeah, I was just going to say that there's the concept, once you talk about online marketing, there's the word optimization. And that's a word you need to fall in love with, because no matter what you do online, you've got to optimize everything.
Yeah.
And having the right tools is a form of optimization. Because like you said, you have this great landing page, but it's on a service provider that doesn't allow a Facebook pixel.
Or split testing.
Yeah, you have no data. You have no idea, other than seeing a a sale pop up at a PayPal. You have no earthly idea where people are coming from, who abandoned a cart. You might find out, you might not know that it could be a simple change of the headline. It could be that there's a disconnect between your Facebook ad and what the people see on the landing page. You're never going to know if you can't measure that data. So across the board, Leah, it's all about optimization. And you don't just throw music together, right? If you're going to put out a great record, you've got to be a bit of a perfectionist. And if you're not a perfectionist, then probably your producer is going to be a perfectionist, or someone else in your band is going to be that. But nobody's going to put out crap, right? Because you can't expect crap to sell. So you optimize your time in the studio. You optimize everything that you do for your music. Don't all of a sudden get casual when it comes to marketing the thing that you put so
Yeah.
much time and effort trying to make, perfect.
I'm so glad you brought that up because that's a huge part of email marketing. And email marketing, landing pages, you got to be able to split test stuff like colors, fonts, images, text, subject lines. What gets people to open the email? What subject lines are going to get their attention? What's going to make them click the link inside of your email and make them interact with things? You've got to be able to split test. You can't do that with crappy tools. You need tools that can get the job done and give you the data that you need so you can make informed decisions. You're not guessing. That makes life so much less stressful and way more fun. So I'm so glad you brought that up. And let's see. The last point I have on this, as far as tools and things that you need to make all of this work for email marketing, is that you need something of value that potential fans want. Right now, free song downloads are still working amazingly well in every genre. Don't believe anybody who tells you that people don't want song downloads anymore. If that's what they're saying, they don't know how to market, because I built my email list of 50,000 people with a free song. So it works, people. And if that ever stops, no problem. Easy. I'll just change it to something else that they want. It doesn't matter. The principle is that we're going to have an exchange here. We're going to exchange a value. They're giving me an email address. I'm giving them something they want. So it could be a behind the scenes video. It could be a secret song I've never released. It could be some VIP experience, like a digital experience. I've done super fun things like that before. It's like 5 days of Celtic metal, and I send them something new every day. A challenge of some kind based around an issue that your brand is about. There's so many different things, and it still works. These free song downloads still work, even when they can get it on streaming sites. People ask me that all the time. Are they still going to download this when they can get it on Spotify? Yes, they are, because they like their own copy of it, and it's a great offer. Yeah. So yes, they do. And I've seen this work for all genres.
There's, I come from the coaching and motivational world where for years and years and years, I've been offering, downloads, audio downloads for motivational messages, etc. One of the big things that was a problem with people is they would go for it, but then they didn't know what to do with the download. They were thinking, okay, well, does it download directly to my phone? Because it might be a 5 MP3, which is all going to be in a zipped, compressed file. So they're thinking, okay, that just downloads directly to my phone, does it not? And they had to learn how to sync their phone, download it to their computer, then get it onto their iTunes or what have you, and then sync their device to get those things on. And I don't know whether it's become any easier necessarily for people over the years, but that was a big deal back then, because people would say, oh, I want the content, but dude, I don't know how to work this MP3 stuff. It's news to me. It's amazing how much things have changed just in the last, 8 to 10 years with that, with the rise of streaming services, when people have become more sophisticated and they like having the device, because they make, I do this all the time, Leah, where I'm in the car and I don't necessarily want to burn a bunch of data, right? Because I've got my phone hooked up to my car stereo. It's just better for me to be able to play native music on my phone. You know what I mean? So I need to have those MP3s on my device. And so there's plenty of incentive for people to still download music and not rely upon streaming services.
Yeah, exactly. So I hope this episode was insightful, informative, and encouraging and motivating for you guys to start building an email list if you haven't been already. We go in extensive detail into all this stuff inside of our programs. So listen, if you're ready to go much deeper into all of these things, I want you to go to callsma.com, book a call with us, and someone on my team is going to be glad to see if and how we can help you go to the next level in your music business. That's callsma.com.
That's awesome, Leah. Thank you once again. You're awesome.
It's been really fun. Let us know in the reviews. Please leave us a 5-star review if you enjoyed this series on why your music isn't making money. And if you would like more, please give us your feedback. That lets us know if we're doing a good job, if you find this of value. It also helps us get discovered so more musicians can get this information. Thanks so much, guys. This episode was sponsored by the Superfan System Elite program here at Savvy Musician Academy. If you are looking to scale your existing music business and you're looking to get into advanced digital marketing, such as email marketing, funnels, e-commerce, Facebook ads, and more, and you're looking to build a real profitable online music business, book a call with our team at www.callsma.com. We would love to speak with you for about 30 minutes and see how we can help you. Don't forget to subscribe to this podcast for more episodes, and we'll see you next time.